The diaphragm is the primary muscle that provides breathing for the body, for the human body, and most bodies that breathe have a diaphragm that does the breathing. So it's really important. It's right in the middle of the body, and the diaphragm actually does several things at once. When you're breathing, it also compresses the intestines and pushes down on the contents of the intestines in the spleen and the liver and the stomach and the pancreas when you inhale, because the diaphragm pulls down while it's inhaling and stretching the lungs down. So the esophagus actually goes through the diaphragm, through the esophageal hiatus, and it joins with the stomach, and that's exactly the plane right where the diaphragm is, where a valve called the cardiac valve, which is named because it's close to the heart, will actually the hole that the valve closes actually gets stretched and distorted when the diaphragm is really tight, because it pulls down towards the back of the spine and down towards the lumbar vertebrae, and it stretches that hole into an oblong shape. So the valve no longer closes, and that's what causes acid reflux, everybody. So you have to release the fibers of the diaphragm that go through the esophageal hiatus in order to relieve acid reflux. Always works. And the spleen is also kind of in that inside compartment of the body. It's outside of the stomach and lateral, well, it runs across the front of the stomach, but it sits mostly to the left side if you're looking out from the human body, and if you're looking at someone's human body, it would be on the right side of your view, but on the left side of their body, if you know what I mean. That's where the spleen mostly is. It comes over to the right. The liver is mostly on the right, but it also comes over on the left side. But the liver and the gallbladder are mostly associated with tension in the rib cage itself, kind of lateral, that'll extend around to the side of the body. And when you have compression and pain inside the rib cage near the stomach, towards the center, that's going to be the stomach and the spleen. And all of that is caused by the diaphragm. But this section is specifically about the stomach and the spleen. And the pancreas is beneath the spleen. And the pancreas controls blood sugar. It is secreted out into the body when our body needs to absorb blood sugar in order to metabolize it. And then thyroxine is actually secreted from the thyroid gland up above, in the throat, to tell the cells to burn the sugar. So they work in unison. But the spleen, the stomach, and the pancreas all will be adversely affected when the diaphragm is in spasm. And what about the spleen? The spleen actually is where blood cells are made. And, blood cells are born inside of bone marrow, but the little baby blood cells, they swim through the blood to the spleen, and they grow up in the spleen, and that's where they get nurtured and become specified blood cells, including white blood cells. And so the health of the spleen has everything to do with the quality of our immune system, because that's where the blood cells develop and become the warriors that they are. Also, stem cells are produced in the pancreas, and they come out of the pancreas and make their way down the abdominal aponeurosis, which is the lining over the abdominal muscles, to get into the body. And stem cells are used to replace tissue or any kind of tissue in the body, and it's kind of like the Joker's wild sort of cell. Can become any kind of cell, and we need them in order for the immune system to work and for tissue to heal properly. So it's important to keep that area of the spleen actually released. It's not normally thought about, but I personally have seen what I think is proof of it empirically, but it has still yet to be proven. But the diaphragm is very important for all these reasons, and that's what this course is about. Sorry for the long introduction, but it's time to sign up for the course. And if you're interested, then let's go ahead and check it out and start doing the lessons.